Yes, here we are. Thank you for joining us for another real life Game Changers episode. We have something amazing to share with you this evening. But the first thing I want you to do is give us a comment. Yeah, so George, you get sharing this out across your platforms
Yeah.
because we need as many people to get on this case tonight as possible. Because if you want to get started in a business, if you want to get started in um, property investing, if you want to make money in property investing, if you want to know how to overcome hurdles, yeah, I'm talking about big hurdles. Let me get this shared on my post here. Oh, wow. Yeah, very good. Yeah, let's get this shared into the tribe. So, guys, um, start commenting. Let me know who you are, where you're at, what you're doing. Put hashtag live if you are watching this live right now, and put hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. Because we want to know any questions that come up from this extraordinary story and journey that you're about to hear. We want to make sure that if you're watching it live, that you're here. You know, hit the share button as well, by the way, because we're going to be giving away lots of prizes. We've got real life credit cards with real life coin on it. We've got real life merchandise. Yeah, we've got pound monies to give away. I think actually the team are just about to release a £30,000 giveaway. So to be in a chance to get knowing that what that is first and be first. Oh, here we go. We're on YouTube as well. Okay, so we're across multiple platforms here. We're live, Georgie. We're live. Yeah. So hit the share button and tag at least 10 people. Elisa, good to see you here. Tag at least 10 people in there, and then you're in with a chance to get put forward to win some of these prizes. Because what we're going to be discussing tonight is how George has gone through his extraordinary journey in property investing, all of the challenges, all of the problems, all of the change in the rules, all the rule changes, changes in global kind of economics, the values of properties, the values of materials, all of these things that literally would send most people running a mile in the other direction. But there's one thing that Georgie wants to share with you tonight, Dr. George, and that is how you can overcome this yourself by using some of the mindset strategies and working on himself. And that's exactly what he's done. So, George, first of all, I want to thank you, welcome you to coming onto the Real Life Game Changer podcast channel, panel, whatever you want to call it.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, and thank you so much for having me here again. We've done this a while ago, and now things have moved on. And thank you so much for having me here again. What can I say? It's an honor, and it's a blessing to be able to be here with you tonight and to share some of my journey. There's one thing I like to mention. First of all, George would not be George without Alice. So we both are the property doctors, and Alice is a massive part of my property journey, of our property journey. She's probably about 60% now, and I'm 40% of our property journey. She's unfortunately kept in work to save some more lives, and she couldn't be here. But I want to thank her live here and to acknowledge her amazing role in our journey and in everything that we do. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Mark. And yeah, what can I share with your audience? What can I share with the people? What would you like to know?
Wonderful. Well, we're going to share plenty, George. That's what we're going to do. So you actually appeared last time. That was the Money Monday. Yeah, we're now going to the Game Changers because this is all about finding people who have either changed the game for themselves or changed it for others. And you definitely have done that in the spirit of wanting to help people and driving yourself forward and your businesses forward while building a property portfolio, while the world has been in lockdown and some crazy ass times have been going on. We want to hear all about it. So let's actually like take just a bit of a trip down memory lane. Yeah, and tell us how you came over to England in the first place. Yeah, and what got you into property, and then we go from there.
Yeah, so everything I've done in life, I think, stems from a weird desire I have to challenge myself. I cannot stay in one place. I've done it in a period of my life, and it was by far the worst period of my life. So 12, 13 years ago without even wanting too much. I just dropped an email to a recruiting agency to my medical job, and I promise, I swear, because people think, oh my god, you're trying desperately. No, I was not even trying, but I just felt there's a need for change, and I just felt I need to give myself another challenge. So I wanted to work in the British medical system. So I just gave my email to an agency. The agency contacted me. Cutting the story short, we came here to see if we like it. And in November 2010, we made the choice to come and work, both myself and Alice, to come and continue our career in emergency medicine here in the UK. And we came to Wales, where we stayed for the whole time. We did contemplate for a while, moving to England and moving to different other places of the UK. But I think Wales fell into our heart as a very warm, welcoming, inviting place. And of course, it ticks a lot of boxes in the things I want. And the things I want is to be in nature, to be close to the beaches, to be as close to isolated, remote places where I can chill out and I can unwind after a busy shift. So it was more of a happening, and they had to come and grab us with both hands. I remember very dearly the boss of the A&E in Cardiff here, a very, very lovely lady, Suzanne. She actually came to my hometown in Iași, Romania, to recruit us and to interview us. And funny enough, how life throws those things at you. The interview was 150 meters away from my house. So somehow nature and the destiny made it really, really easy for me to be able to access this place, to be able to come to Cardiff. 4 months later, I was coming to check it out. I wasn't sure I want to come. So they asked me to come for a week and have a bit of a shadowing experience to see if I like it here. And then 6 months later, both me and Alice were coming over. So that's a bit of an interesting story of how we got here. Once we got here, our purpose was connected to property. If you can think about it, it's crazy enough. We just wanted to come and raise enough money to be able to go back home and buy a house, because as the situation was standing in Romania, the price of the houses was growing exponentially where our paychecks were. And so our chances of buying a house back in Romania were pretty scarce. So we said, we're just going to go to the UK.
Sorry? Is the prices increasing a lot still now?
No, actually, a very important factor. At least the pay for doctors is nearly getting to the level of the UK.
Wow. But what about the house prices? Because you said it was increasing.
The house prices is also at the same level. So it's just crazy. I mean, a 2-bedroom flat in Romania, in some places in Romania, can go up to 100,000 euros for a 2-bedroom flat, which is kind of an average price probably for the UK when you put London into play and all that. So, and a good house in a good location, it's over 250,000 euros in Romania. So yeah, we're getting slowly to those kind of prices, but it was crazy. We came here because of property, basically. Of course, we wanted to work in the UK system, but we never wanted to stay. We just said, we're going to come for a year, we're going to earn enough money to be able to pay for our deposit there, and then just move on with life and live in Romania.
So what was the turning point when you said, well, let's invest in property here? Like, what got you into that?
Our first, I would say, adventure investing in property in Romania was connected, here in the UK, was connected to our first ever residential property. We've never owned property in Romania. And after about 14 months of living in the UK, because we stayed for a year and then we said we're just going to stay for another year. When we make the decision to stay for the second year, we said we have to buy a property, even if we stay just for another year, because we realized that by paying the rent of £1,200 is not going to get us anywhere soon. So we dared to go and ask a few banks if they would give us a mortgage. And of course, the answer was no. Of course, you've just been here for 12 months, so we're never going to consider giving you a mortgage, until we went to Barclays, and Barclays said, that's completely silly. Of course, we can give you a mortgage. Just pay a deposit. You are very good income earners, both of you. You don't have any outgoings. We didn't have a credit card at that time. There was nothing. We didn't have any credit, no debt. We just had money in the bank. And it was one bank was smart enough to say, of course, we can. You have very good income. You're only paying, you're only getting 90% of the price of a house in a very good area. So, of course, we're happy to give you the money. And that was actually the first lesson with us, because we gave up for a few months. And we gave up in a way that we had a few banks saying, you're never going to get the mortgage. And I said, this answer does not satisfy me. And I just made a little file with some credentials from work, with our money, with our income, with everything, with pictures from the house we were renting to prove we're good people and we're done. I know.
And were you speaking to anyone at this time, like anyone else, like from England, like, hey, this is my situation? Like, were you doing that?
No, I wasn't really speaking. No, I wasn't speaking with anyone because I didn't know. I said if I speak with the banks, then that's going to be the mother of all information. If they can't give me a mortgage, no, I wasn't speaking with anyone. I didn't even know there's an online world of property investing. I always thought, is this?
But like, even just about your residential house, were you not asking like other people's opinions, or the doctors or anything at the time?
None of them had properties. I mean, they were all the people in my place of work. I was 30 then. They were like 40, 45. No, I never asked anyone, and they never been in my situation, so they couldn't really advise me in any way. I was asking them, but they said, well, we've never been in the situation. We always lived here. We always had. So I didn't know. But 1 week I said, I'm not going to stop here. I'm not satisfied. So I just went to another 4 or 5 banks. And when I went to Barclays, this very lovely lady in the back, she was the boss of mortgages and all that. And she said, of course we can give you a mortgage. It's silly for anyone not to give you one. It's just silly. I don't know where at the banks you went. I don't want to know any names, but please come on. And they gave us a mortgage. We had our first residential property. And then that was a great victory. And we were so excited, we applied to pay our mortgage in 9 years. So,
Oh, wow.
so,
Yeah. So was that down in Wales?
yeah, it was in Wales, yeah.
Yeah, Wales. Yeah, okay. So that's what you did. And then, so what led you to thinking, well, maybe we can buy investment properties? What led you to that point?
Well, I've always been involved in business. So I've had multiple businesses, some more successful, some less successful. But I've never ever done one stream of income in my life until I came to the UK to work in the medical system. And the work in the medical system was taking a toll on me. So my weight has started going up and my mood levels are starting going down, and I wasn't right. There was something was not right. There was a lot of pressure, of course, change of work, change of system, lots of pressure, lots of demands on our life. And at some point we had some money saved, and then we said we're going to buy an investment property.
I just want to go back to you
Yeah.
said you never had one stream of income. So what was that mindset, and what were you doing before? Was it multiple jobs? Was it back in Romania, or like what was this like? What gave you the multiple, or the thinking to have multiple streams?
Well, I've always liked to have options in life. And by having options, I mean, I never wanted to hang on to just one type of job or to one type of opportunity in life. I wanted to hang on to multiple opportunities. I like to have options. So at some point in my life, I was in the same time, I had a sign making company. I was working in a private theater where I was the lights and the sounds director. I was doing photographs for weddings and baptizes. And at the same time, I was training for my residency in medicine. So just to give you a brief example, and that's happened at different stages in my life and various other examples, I've had over 13 different types of jobs. So I wanted to have options in a way that if I lose my job for any particular reason, I'm not just going to stay on the sideline and cry. I'm just going to go and work on the other job, and I'm going to create a business in the other field that I like. So, but one thing that I like to do in life, I always like to monetize things that were my hobbies. I always had a hobby in DJing, therefore I was providing music for weddings. I always had a passion for photography, and who knows, my personal page, they can see that all the time. So I was having a business in photography. I always loved to do sign making, to have creation, to create things. So I created a sign making company. I like to help people and I like to support people in their lives. So that's why I became a doctor. And then all my life I've done those kind of things. But then coming to the UK to work as a doctor, it was so demanding on me. I couldn't bear the thought of working on any other streams of income.
So like, was then property your route to say like, I need a backup or something, or like what was that thing that clicked in your mind that says, I want to invest in property? I know you said you saved a lot of money to do that, but like, what was the switch in the mind?
The switch in the mind was a dialogue I've had with a financial advisor who was presented to us at the meeting for doctors, and was trying to, tell us about pensions and tell us about investments. And one of the investments that came up was property. And I always thought about it, and I had people around me that were involved in property. They had property, and I always looked at it, but I didn't have a clue on how to do it. So myself and Alice, we just thought, well, how hard can it be? You just find the property, you buy it, and you rent it to somebody, and that's it. We didn't have a clue about all the things involved. We didn't have a clue about the financial part of the things. We didn't have a clue about, what it means to put all the expenses in practice. We didn't know of course, we knew what the stamp duty is when we bought our residential property, but we didn't know we have to put that in the calculations and the numbers. And we thought we were doing a good thing. And then we dared to ask somebody from the outside that was already in property, and they done the numbers for us, and they came with a conclusion. And the conclusion was that we were investing £65,000 in a property in Cardiff. And so we were investing all that money, living it in the deal, for us to pay another £130 a month for somebody to live in our house. So
was that because you just did everything like by yourselves, and you were like, yeah, apparently we buy some property and you can get some rental income? It was one of those, like, you just went in fresh like that?
Absolutely. We just went and said, we're going to buy this one, but we had the intelligence to go and ask someone, what do they think about our numbers before we jumped in?
Okay, good. So then what happened?
And then we were like, well, that's silly. That's very, very silly what we're doing. But that gave us a bit of a taste about property. And I said, well, I've never considered being in property, but I'm a creative guy. I like seeing beautiful things in front of me. It seems to be working for a lot of people around us. We started asking more questions, and then we started researching online. And of course, when we restarted to research online, we came across some courses from an organization called Legacy. And we contacted them. We went to the 3 days weekend, and then we signed up for one of their packages. So that's how we basically started our professional business in property in the UK. Luckily enough, we dared to ask a question, someone, to get some information from someone, and we didn't jump to pay the 65k to pay another £130 for somebody to stay in our house. And that was what we thought it was absolutely rightful to do, and nobody could tell us different. I actually ended up arguing a bit with the person that gave me the advice. And then when I went to the 3 days basic course with Legacy, I realized for myself that I was completely wrong in all possible ways.
But I was just having this conversation with some people who work, in other businesses I have outside of property, and they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that, like, you can get money to work for you. They don't know that you can buy investment properties with none of your own money. And a lot of people, they just think if you're going to invest in property, you buy them off plan, off a big developer, and you just put your money in there, and it's a nest egg, and one day it'll be worth some more money. And people see property investing as a pension, but I've seen people invest in property for like 20 years. And like you say, because their numbers don't work or it's not stacking up, it actually has been a cost, not an actual investment. Like, I would consider an investment makes me money, not cost me. Like if it's going to cost me money, that's money spent, not money invested. Yeah. So you went out there, you got some technical knowledge. Yeah. So then how was your journey going? And like, what kind of road did you take then?
It was very it was a very interesting journey, because we were spending excessive amounts of time. I was just cleaning my computer the other day, and I found we were doing something like 30-40 viewings a month, every single month, whilst working full-time in medicine, whilst doing, taking care of our 2 children at that time, because Emilia came on the way and she was about a year old, and you know how demanding that can be. And we were viewing an excessive number of properties. We were putting offers over offers and doing numbers and visiting and doing quotes. And oh my God, that was busy. It was so busy that in one year we bought 1 property. So now
You were doing 40 viewings every month.
Probably more than that, but that's the ones I found in the computer for some months, and because
this might confuse people, but I don't think I viewed 40 properties in the first 3 years. and some people might think that's a little bit crazy, but I do understand where you're coming from, because I know it is sometimes said that it's a numbers game and you just got to go out there. Oh, what happened there? George got so excited. Yeah, so like, I'll explain this while George is gone and I'll wait for him to come back. But like, it's a numbers game. You've got to go out there and you've got to put cheeky offers in. You've got to get it below market value, and then eventually someone's going to say, yeah, yeah, you're back, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm back in some kind of a double. I can hear myself twice. So let me see if I can close the first one.
Test. Hello, test. Yeah, so guys, keep commenting. Is what are you getting from George so far? That he's come over to this country, and now he's putting himself forward into the property business. So just recap there. So you got some technical knowledge. Could you hear me, George?
Yes. I can hear you all the time, but for some reason my camera just switches off, and I have to click on the link again. But
yeah, okay, cool, good. So so you heard what I was saying. And that's what people are told to do. They're told to go out there. So like, how are you feeling after 1 year of your property journey, viewing all of these properties, getting one purchase? Like, how is it? How are you feeling at that point?
We were very tired, but we were gaining a lot of experience. That was not necessarily good or bad, but we definitely knew our area. So that we knew every single street, up the valleys, up the Welsh valleys. We knew all the streets. We knew all the agents. We knew them intimately. We were asking them how did the kids do in GCSEs. We knew everyone, and everyone knew us. But there's one thing that we didn't have. We didn't have confidence, because when we were doing the numbers and everything else, we always forced to believe that don't leave any money in the deal, have them all money in, money out, and do that. And we never had the confidence to buy more deals, because actually we went past so many deals. We didn't know they were deals for not having the confidence, for not having trust in ourselves. And the property that we bought was a very good deal, which has brought us a lot of money along the years. We've refinanced it a couple of times, and it's still only about 70% of value in the last one. So there's still lots of money in it. So definitely the money we have invested, because that's a point I wanted to make also, the money we have invested in the courses we've done there, they all came back from one deal. It's crazy, but they all came out from one deal. So if people are thinking about, investing in my education, that sounds silly. No. Even if we had no kind of, how shall I say, not real 100% support, or not the best necessarily knowledge or the best confidence, we still got all the money out of one deal. So to me, investing in myself to learn a new trade is absolutely amazing. I'm always going to do it, and I'm always going to be up for it, because I've learned the hard way that actually it works, even if I had to view a lot of properties. But then,
so I want to ask you. So that happened, and I know you're a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. Yeah, so you don't have to beat around the bush. I know you won't, but I'll say it anyway. But like, you came across a crazy bunch of people that call themselves real life. Yeah, and I remember in 2018 you went to an event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So like, what made you want to go there in the first place, and then what happened? What was your impression of everything?
I think that the thing that got us there was, I'm going to start by saying what got us there, and I'm going to start by saying how we felt there. So in that year where we viewed those hundreds of properties and we've run all those numbers, we've learned something. We learned a way in which not to do it. So it's always a learning in everything, if you're willing, if you're open, if you're aligned to receive the learnings. And we realized that the buy-to-let journey for us as very high income earners was not the way moving forwards. Definitely. I didn't want to repeat that experience another year to get another one property, because I said I'd rather go to work. It's so much easier. So then I started looking at HMOs, at houses in multiple occupancy, because I realized that that's where the money is. And then I came across Trisha, and I love the energy, and I love the passion, and I love the all the creative experience he was making, and all the beautiful properties you guys were making. And everything just clicked into place, and I just, I started following. I started seeing this event, and I said I just have to go there and see how it's happening in real life. Because I was following Trisha online, and we had a little chat online about a few things, and that was great. But I just said I have to see it for myself, and I signed up to the event, and I went to the event and still very skeptical, and very, very, very skeptical. I really enjoyed it. I think I can't remember if that was the event when I raised my first ever money, but that's very possible. That would have been the first ever. So I think I raised something like £50,000 on that event, just with the oomph I got from that event. I remember very fondly you were calling people in the room, and I was just, wait just a minute, I have to finish this phone call. I was like buzzing. I was so energized, and it was just great. And the people I raised the money from, they still thank me every single day, because so far is the best investment they've ever made. They've had money in crypto, they had money in stocks and shares and all that. And every single time I paid them the interest, they're like, thank you so much for opening my eyes. Because so far property stays the more solid from my point of view. At least this is my experience. I don't know about other people, but that's what I think. And that event showed me how things can be done. So that event removed about 60% of all my precept and all the things that I thought that, oh my God, I don't have any confidence, I don't have enough money, I cannot leave money in deals, and this is going to ruin me. And that was great. That was a great event.
Yeah, and you know what it is? People do think like all of these strange concepts around investing in property or raising money, or can it be done, or can I do it, or nobody's going to want to lend money to me, or anything like that. Yeah, but so even though you're still skeptical, you're kind of working through things like, and I remember you did raise some money, and you messaged me a few days after saying, like, been on late shifts, and like, wow, I mean, that was a long day. I think we started at 9 and we finished at something silly like 10 o'clock at night. It was like the first ever event that we did, so we didn't really have any timings. And anyway, that was a blast, and we had a lot of fun from there. So then, like, how did your journey go from there? Because, did it kick off then, or were there still some hurdles that you needed to go over?
No, there were still some hurdles, some personal hurdles, because I went to the event, and of course at the event more support was offered, and more possibilities of building my portfolio even faster were presented. And of course, with my with my roadblocks, I said no to that. And I went and we kind of found a property that could have been a HMO, and we started negotiating on it, and we had an offer accepted. And then I once that became reality, and once I've applied some of the things I've learned on the one day, that clicked for me. So that was what clicked, actually seeing something that I've learned on the one day being materialized. And actually, I can remember a photo I cannot share right now, and I cannot find the photo. I didn't do any preparation for this. But I've done a photo, the first ever photo, and I'm really celebrating something. I was at the PIN event where the owner of the house called me. I went outside quickly to answer the phone, and on the hallway of the PIN event, I was like, that is a picture of me in a blue jacket. It's the best picture ever, because that was the first offer accepted on a HMO, and that was amazing. That was an amazing feeling.
Did you have to do 40 viewings?
No, just maybe 4 or 5, and that was it. So the percentage was getting better, baby. So I was happy.
Yeah, very good. And that's another kind of thing. Like, when people are told that it's a numbers game, they'll go out there for so long, hitting their head against the wall, trying to figure it out, not really knowing, is it working? Is this how it's supposed to be? Is this how it's supposed to feel? And I see so many people, they quit. And that's why we want, to support people and want to help people, because I don't like seeing people quit. I'm not a quitter. And I think deep down, people are not quitters. Yeah, they don't like quitting. So they have to make up some kind of other version of events to say, oh, no, I just changed direction. Oh, what? Yeah, you wanted to just not be able to build a business and create passive income. Some people argue whether property is passive or not. I'll argue whether you know how to run your business or not. Yeah, that is, what it comes down to. So what happened then, George? So what happened? So you're seeing the results, and then did you shift gears? Or
yeah, absolutely. I shifted gears in a way that one day I called you, and I don't know if you can remember. I remember perfectly because I called you and I said, like, look, can I just buy a coaching package? That's it. I didn't want any more. I didn't even know what they were exactly, but I didn't care. I knew I needed some of that energy. I needed some of that vibe on a one-to-one basis. And I knew that but the other thing I wanted to mention here is that's really big because that contributed to me making that phone call. I was in a mindset of scarcity. I wasn't in a mindset of success. I wasn't in a mindset of moving forwards. I was in a mindset of scarcity. And one of my first ever mentors and coaches, he pointed something towards me. That was more life coaching, was connected to property, but I needed some guidance for my life. And I said that one of the reasons I don't invest more money in property and I don't go full 100% in it is because I'm going to lose everything. And I told him that I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything. And then said, can we do an exercise for 5 minutes? He said, we're going to do the exercise of your net worth. Do you know what your net worth is? I don't even know what the net worth is. Sorry, mate. You just have to teach me what it is. And he gave me all the details and everything else. And I've done my net worth at that time. And it was very low. It was very low. I'm not ashamed to say when I started my property journey, my net worth was £40,000.
Nice, very good.
So he said, so you're going to lose everything, yeah? So everything is £40,000. And that's why you're not investing more in your property journey. And I said, yeah. Does it sound silly? He said, yeah, because if you lose everything, you just make it again. If it's just 40 grand, you're just going to make it back. Everybody can make it back. And in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter how much long it takes, you will make it back. So go full on. And that was something that shifted me to go in October. I say, look, I need some support. I need some help. I need to do that properly. I cannot be losing 5 years learning all the lessons on my own. And I said, even if it doesn't work, I'm still going to learn something. So let's go and do it. Boom. And I've done it.
So then I'm assuming you can still hear me based on the last time. So when you come back, George, do let us know what happened after that. But while we wait for George to come back, guys, please do comment. What is it you're taking from this right now? Yeah, and I like what George is saying. He's showing some good stuff here. Hello. Is it still echoing?
Yes, I'm back. I can hear you. As I said, I'm not doing anything. The system just kicks me out for some reason. So
yeah. So go ahead and say what happened next.
Yeah, so I made the phone call. I said I want a package. I was really excited and fearful and scared and fearful. And I was like, come on, you have to do it. And I just put my hand on the phone and I said, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, Mark. I want to buy a package. I don't want to know anything. I just want in. That was it. It was a very short call. I think it was 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't anything. So I came in. I started my coaching with Shane. And wow, that was a journey. So, I mean, Shane is a big part of my life now. Shane is a good friend of mine now. Shane is, we're sharing a part of the journey. We're always going to be having this wonderful connection. He knows a lot about me. And of course, it's all through the coaching sessions we've had and all the hurdles I have to break. And I never knew everything I needed. It was inside me. So what did you learn? Yes, I've learned a few practical tips and tricks on how to do different things. Of course, you learn from everyone's experience, but the most important things I got from the coaching was just removing all those barriers. And because I was this self-centered, egotistic guy, I didn't care about anything else and other than myself. And
this is very fitting. Yeah. So let's kind of bring this into here. It's a long question, so I'll read the whole thing out for you. But Glenn is asking, question to it does kind of scroll up. Question to both of you. On your property journey, what was the biggest hurdle getting over your own self-doubt? It's so hard for most people to get past. Yeah, that's coming from YouTube. So what would you say to that, George?
So hi Glenn, thank you for the question. I think the biggest hurdle was to have the confidence that I can do it. The biggest hurdle was to have the confidence that the system work and the numbers work. And another, so that was the biggest hurdle for me, having the confidence that the numbers and the system actually works. And then having the system, having the confidence to believe that by bringing value to other people's life, bringing true value is the only way towards success. Because this is what represents me, bringing value to other people's lives. So I said the only way for me to do property is to do it in a sense that bringing value to other people's life, my family, myself, my investors, my tenants, the government, by paying my taxes and all that, and everybody else, my builders, family, my builders, everybody. I want to just bring value to everybody's life. So that was the biggest hurdle, believing I have the power to overcome all adversity, trust the numbers. And when I shifted to bringing value, that was it.
Beautiful. And it's funny you say about like the formulas, or trusting the system. Because I remember on one of my first deals, I remember looking at it saying, like, what we're going to make, we're going to be able to invest the money, refinance it, take all the money out plus 25k, and it's going to cash flow £1,000 a month. No, something's got to be wrong. And I remember sitting there like, something's got to be wrong. Like, it can't be this straightforward. Yeah. And I remember trying to talk myself out of why not to go for the deal. So much so that like we bid 100, someone bid 102. Yeah. And I was like, that's it, we're out. We ain't bidding no more. Yeah. Like hoping that that was the case. Yeah. And anyway, a few weeks later, the agent came back and said, oh, by the way, that those people pulled out now. Do you want it? And I was like, okay, my new offer is 87. And I remember like convincing myself that this is the right thing to do, but really all I was doing is trying to like say, no, I don't want to take the deal, so I'm gonna put like a stupid offer in. You know what ended up happening on that deal is the bank, because it was one of our first deals, and that was a HMO, so we needed like a commercial mortgage. There was only one bank at the time that would lend us the money, and the minimum amount they would lend us is 100,000. So I couldn't buy it for 87 even if they said yes. Yeah, or like they would only lend us the equivalent of a purchase price of 100,000, so give us a 75k. Yeah, but anyway, went ahead and go ahead, and it did go as straightforward as we thought. Okay, there's some problems, some challenges, and all the rest of it, but still, that was a great property for many years, and actually then sold it later down the line for like 250k. Which was brilliant after a couple of years cash flow as well. So I totally know what you mean, and it's a great question, Glenn, that you're asking, because there is that doubt. Yeah, and it happens to anyone. The question is, when the doubt's there, are you going to let it paralyze you, or are you just going to move forward anyway? And that's what's important. And George said at the beginning here, he's got Alice around him, the property doctors, coaches, masterminds, mentoring, community of people that can say, come on, pull your finger out, go for it. And really, that's what it's about. You need to spend at least, a few months. And we've got open masterminds, Glenn, that you can come to, like a free mastermind. I think the next one is on the 11th. In fact, is that next week, is it? Yeah, so we can drop like message the Mark Harvey page, and I'll get someone to send that access over to you. But yeah, we can do that. So yeah, great question. So what were you talking about before, Joe? Yeah, you were talking about getting over self-doubt, having the confidence, and all the rest of it. So tell us some of your property, like what are some of the deals that you've done now, up until now, and like what you're working on as well.
Yeah, so the other thing that clicked for us once we joined Real Life was the power of partnerships, because I believe that both me and Alice, we can move forwards at a certain speed, and we have a certain way of doing it for ourselves. With I think I'm back. So yeah, sorry. Well, I don't know what's happening. It's nothing I do. I don't touch anything. I don't. Yeah. So with the way we do business, we realize that we can do it ourselves, but we want to move slightly faster. And we want to bring value to other people's life, and we want other people to bring value to our life. So we started believing, because we're guided by the same kind of set of rules as the other members of the Real Life tribe, we found some amazing JV partners in that. So together with our JV partners, we're building our portfolio now, and a part of it is ours, a part of it is with a group of JV partners. Another one is with a group of another JV partner. So all the portfolio I'm going to mention here, some of it is our own and some of it is with JV partners, because we believe in the power of that. Hello, I'm not sure if anybody. Oh, sorry, you are so fixed, Mark. I was like, okay, so what's happening there? So,
Yeah, that's brilliant. Like partners is the key. I remember when we first started, three joint ventures off the bat. There was like three joint ventures and a couple of investors, and it gets things swinging. I remember like becoming commercially like mortgageable because of JV and with two other people who were doing good and financially, and another what like we met like different builders, solicitors. Even this one of my main solicitors that I use still today, she is excellent, was connected through a JV partnership as well. So like coming into a community, working with people. And I'll tell you something as well, George, like, I don't know if you're doing this, but a lot of people, they want to buy property, own property to make money. But people are making so much money from investing in other people who are doing it. I know you are making people a lot of money by them lending you money and you being able to pay them back interest. We've done 15% returns, 10% returns, 8% returns, 20% returns. Even right now, given that, and some people will be like, you can't say returns on here. And it's like, well, hold on a second, I'm not advertising. I'm just saying what I've already done. Yeah, so there's a disclaimer. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously, will it continue to happen? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so so there's so many different entry points that people can make money, whether they have the money and they want to invest it in someone else to begin with. I mean, we had that with a few investors. Don't know about you, George, but they'll invest it first, and then like they did it themselves. Others, they just want to keep giving you the money back. Yeah, and other people, from the off, they're like, yeah, we want a joint venture, we want to do some big projects. So what have you got to share about like that and how it's helped you in your journey?
we have the we have the same kind of experience, and I have to say that most of the money I've had at the beginning, they went on courses and investing in ourselves and getting mentorships and coaching, which I never look back at that. It was the best investment I could ever make. And the money we raised across all our partnerships, it's stretching over £800,000, I think now, and we paid over £100,000 in interest over the last 2 or 3 years to our different partners. So we are so happy to do that because it's a win-win-win everywhere. I mean, I love the banks, I love the bridging companies, but I also love my private investors in the same time, because they're people just like me. And if I can help one of my peers, one of my friends, or somebody I know, if I can help making them, working towards their dream in the same time whilst investing in property, this is perfect for me, because again, I'm bringing value to other people's lives. So that's win-win everywhere for me.
And here's the interesting part. You don't actually know how much money is available and out there, and people are all willing to wanting to invest it. I mean, what's the alternative? Leave it in the bank and let it erode away? Yeah. So like there's so many people you don't realize until you go out there and you ask the questions. But what I do want to ask you, George, is like when we explain it, like, hey guys, we're going to raise some finance, this is how we're going to do it, and we explain that specific process that we go through. Like, did you think in your head like, nah, this is not going to work, or were you thinking it must work? Like, what was you thinking?
I thought in my head that it's working, but I'm not necessarily capable of doing it myself. And I started bringing all those things in my head, like I'm foreign, and I don't have any friends with money, and I don't know anyone that would invest in me in my business. My business is too young for people to invest in me. And I can bring those crowd of little voices and everything they told me every single time I pick up the phone to make a phone call to ask somebody would be interested in that. So it's just crazy how the mind works and how your mindset can shift just through the confidence on just doing one call. It is successful, the whole world changes. Now, why didn't I do that before? I don't know. I have no clue, but it's probably the fact that I didn't believe in myself. And that's one of the things that when people do affirmation, where they want to break through something and it's something they wish, one of the fears that comes the most in their lives is I'm not good enough. And I was suffering of the same thing, and I still have a bit of a trait of that in some aspects of my life, but I'm working on it, because change starts with awareness. And I'm happy to be aware now and to acknowledge all the things that don't work in my life and to fix them one by one. And this is where what's worked for me, because I said I was very stubborn, and stubbornness comes sometimes from being raised as a doctor, because you think you're this superior being that knows everything, and it's not true, and it's not true in most aspects of our lives. And we
Oh, still here, George. I want to ask you the next question. Yeah, the next question is, I know you've seen a lot of success financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually as well. When it comes to going to certain training and keep pushing yourself forward. Oh, yeah, so hopefully that's I'll be asking. So this because there's a certain type of like stigma, or some people are not so sure. Yeah, you're back, George. Yeah. Could you hear everything I was saying the whole time?
I've lost about 30 seconds. Sorry.
Okay, so what I was saying is sometimes there's a certain kind of stigma around people doing personal development or just training, or they just say, "Oh, you're going on one of those courses again." But you've obviously seen a lot of success financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in doing that. Like, well, what is it that you'd have to say, like, around, going to these and what it's done for you and what it does do?
Um, I've been to a lot of events, and every single time I go to one of them, even if it's a repeated one, if it's a very similar one, I always find something else about myself, because every single time I go, I'm aligned, I'm vibrating with the learnings from the training in a different way. So even if you tell me the same thing twice, because this time I'm aligned and I can hear it, it just goes straight in. So that's the reason why I keep going to trainings and learnings, because every single time I go to another training, I'm a different person, ever so slightly. But when I'm opening a different side of myself that is able to receive the information I need to receive at that time. And that's why I keep going. And I think that the value of community, the value of being in a group of like-minded people, the value of wanting to grow and recognizing and acknowledging that you have to grow, that's the first step towards redemption. I sound like a bit of like like an apocalypse movie, but this is what it is. This is what it is. We all have an immense power inside, but because of the barriers that we put in our heads, either to our own experiences or to the experiences of the adults in our childhood, then we believe less of ourselves, and we believe there's nothing else possible out there. So that's why I keep going to the events, because they keep reminding me every single time how much energy I have inside.
So just from the training and all the work that you've done on yourself and the coach and everything, just tell us, what are some of the property strategies that you've been able to do, and like the ones that you're going into, and how much money you think you've raised from all of this?
Of course. We've employed the buy to let strategy, where we bought a property and we kept it for a single family, which works great in the background. We have also we've also done a flip this year. We call it a flip. Is basically buy, refurbish, and sell. So we bought a property, we refurbished it, and we sold it for a profit. That's the first time we've done that. And then we have embraced totally into the houses and multiple occupancy type of buildings. But now, and actually this morning we were speaking with our business partners. We're looking at 2 plots of land where we can build. One of them is for 4 to 5 dwellings. The other one is for 2 separate dwellings. So we are starting to look at those kind of deals, because we want to make more cash over the next few years to be able to purchase some more properties in case there's a market correction or something which could bring the prices lower. I don't have a magic lamp, but we are getting ready for, as I said at the beginning of the call, I like to have options. So those are the type of strategies we look into. Of course, is commercial to residential. We're always looking. We analyze 2 or 3 deals. We actually went to an auction to put an offer on a commercial to residential up north, very close to Liverpool. So we are starting to look at other strategies too, but the HMOs are going to be our base. And I think with the products we're creating, they're also going to be like, making money forever. And so we love HMOs.
I love it. And you know what? Embarking on some new projects myself, I now look at it and I'm like there's not enough time to do all the deals. Like I look at them, and some of these projects, they take 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, some of the biggest stuff. And I'm thinking like, wow, like anybody who thinks there's not enough opportunity out there is literally like I was blind. I was blind for so long. Yeah, but that's so awesome. So I've got a couple of questions to ask you, George, before we wrap this up. Yeah, one of them is, let's just say right now, you have a microphone that translates to every language across the planet. Yeah. And you got a 15-second message that you can get out to the planet. Yeah. What would you say to them?
I'm very fond of your message, Mark, and I've taken it and I'm using it every single day in everything I do. And I'm always saying, if you do the right thing for the right reason, you will discover your true potential. This is the only way you're going to discover your true potential. And I live it every single day and I teach it to other people and I'm enjoying every single second of it. So do the right thing for the right reason. That's the only thing you're going to discover your true potential. I can't find anything better.
Nice. Well, that makes my second question void. But but I think we should do it anyway because we want to add it to the reel. You want to add it to the reel. So before I do that, I first of all want to say absolute pleasure to have you on here, George. We always say like if we can shift one person, yeah, the trajectory of one person, then it's been worth it. I think many people will see this. They've seen it live. They're going to see it on replays. They're going to see it on wherever else we publish it on the podcast. Which, by the way, guys, check out the Mark Harvey YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, go subscribe to that, and you're going to see lots more of. You can even go check out George's previous Money Monday and see the change from then to now. That'd be amazing to watch as well. And yeah, actually, yeah, we've got many things that are happening. So I'm gonna actually put some links into the chat, into the comments. But before then, I need to say, yeah, thank you so much, George, for coming on. You've shared an absolute golden nuggets throughout, mentally as well as how to move forward technically with strategy. So absolute pleasure to have you on here, George. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here, Mark. And yeah, many, many thanks for all the trust you put in myself. And I wanted to thank you personally for something else. I wanted to thank you for seeing me more than I've seen in myself and for allowing myself to uncover that and to be where I am now and do like, monster deals, 11-bedroom HMOs and, also many wonderful things and just looking at land and things like that. I never thought I'm going to be capable of that. And thank you so much for seeing beyond what I could see.
You are so welcome, George. So here's the question, yeah? Here's the big question. The question is, in our community, we can never, ever, ever let people forget that they must do the right thing for the right reason. Now, why is that?
Because this is the only way you're going to discover your true potential. Yes!
George has seen it before. I love it. I love it. If you've liked George's journey and you want to set yourself upon one of your very own journey, hit that link right there that will take you to GSIP, which is Getting Started in Property, which is less than 2 weeks away, guys. Yeah, so tribe leaders, spread the word. People in the real life, try to get people in, share this link with people. It's a one-day virtual event that you can do from the comfort of your own home, and we're going to share the principles that help people like Dr. George get started in property himself and set him on his way to have this thirst to just discover more of himself and build, a couple of £1 million here, a couple of £100,000 a year, and moving on to even bigger and better deals because you build a system, right, George?
Absolutely. It's all in the system now. It's so much easier. Me and Alice, we have our roles. We know exactly what to do. There's no more questions that need to be asked. Everything just works and it works in our own advantage. And yes, systems are everything. Definitely.
Fantastic. So there we go. So you see it here first, and you heard George say it. You got to do the right thing for the right reason, because that is the only way to discover your true potential.